part of the British Sky Broadcasting Network.
Tonight's live action from the FA Cup on Sky Sports, bringing you the best football service in the world, is proudly sponsored by Carlsberg. Farnborough is best known for its international air show, but right now it's the town's football team that's taking off. This goal by top scorer Simon Reed gave them an early lead in the second round at Torquay. Manager Ted Pearce has piloted Farnborough to heady non-league success over 21 years. Here's a busy timetable. He's also a manager with British Rail. Torquay is normally associated with cream teas and faulty towers. They were going out of the FA Cup this year until Mark Lorham got this 87th minute equaliser.
Number 42.
That's West Ham United.
Torquay won't mind another crack at West Ham. They beat them in the third round 2 years ago. The big time beckons tonight. Road just off the M3 in Hampshire for our football this evening. This second round FA Cup replay between Farnborough and Torquay is exclusively live tonight on Sky Sports. And there has to be a winner, remember. There's extra time and the possibility of penalties if they can't settle it over 90 minutes. Our guest is David Webb, the Southend manager, who's also had a spell in charge of Torquay. Mid-80s, David, I think?
Yeah, 84. 84 I went there and left again in 86.
Fond memories, or would that be an exaggeration?
I had fond memories. I don't think a lot of people down there didn't have too fond memories of myself, because it was a time of very harsh decision making, and I was asked to go in and try and put the finances right apart from the football. And in the 2 years, 2 out of the 3 years, seasons rather, that I was here, we finished bottom of the 4th division. But fortunately enough, when we got the finances right, that was the whole method of it, and we left them in a much better position when we left. But my own personal point of view was I wanted to stay in football management, and I drifted too far away from it, and it was desperate for myself to get back into it. Well,
you're back doing what you like, and they're on the threshold of the big time this evening, as we've said. Incidentally, the quarter-final draw of the UEFA Cup was made today. Liverpool have drawn Genoa. They're in Italy for the first leg, which will suit them very nicely. Genoa are going well this year, 5th in Serie A, and remember, this is the place to see Italian football. We've got exclusive action every Sunday and Monday from the best league in the world, and I suspect that Graham Souness and Anfield in general will be watching a bit more closely from now on, no doubt. One of the stars at Genoa, Scaravi. That's the full draw. Liverpool avoiding the favourites Real Madrid, as you can see, they're away in the first leg. Well, Torquay have been in the headlines too over the past few days. I'm sure you saw this picture of player coach John Özell in your papers this morning. He was carried off at the weekend in the match against Brentford after a nasty clash with Gary Blissett. John apparently has reported the matter to the police. It really is a bad injury. Surgeons had to insert a plate into the cheekbone, which was smashed, and John doesn't know if he'll play again. Waiting for us at Farnborough with more is Eddie Hemmings.
Well, the man who can tell us all about the John Özell injury is the club chairman, Mike Bateson. Mike, what is the latest situation with John?
I think from a medical point of view, he's settled down now. They've done the operation, inserted a steel plate and a plastic plate in his cheek. Now it's the long road to recovery.
As far as the club is concerned, what's the next move?
Well, the first move is up to John. This afternoon he made a complaint to the police about the incident. I don't really want to be drawn on what the action the club will take at this stage. We really need to see how long he's going to be out and really what it's going to cost the club.
There are people, of course, who say it's dangerous ground to be taking things away from the football field and the disciplinary procedures in football.
Yeah, in certain examples I would agree with that. This one I think may be a little bit out of the ordinary.
Well, it's a big night for Torquay United, as it is for Farnborough. What does it mean, though, for Torquay?
Well, clearly your very presence here tonight means a good bit to us. A win tonight will take us into a match with West Ham. We've caused some damage to West Ham before at Plainmoor. We would hope to do the same and then just progress through the competition. We badly need the cash.
Well, best of luck for it, Mike. All the very best for tonight.
Thanks very much.
And Richard, it's back to you in London.
Eddie, thank you. Obviously, we wish John well. David, your thoughts on that?
Well, I listened to the chairman of Torquay, and it sounds very much to me that he's had a bit of influence over the player making the complaint. Not directly so, but I do know Mike Bateson, and I would think that he's probably encouraged the boy to do it. I'm very disappointed that they've done that, because I do believe personally that there are things that should be done inside the realms of the Football League and the Football Association. And I think once you start inviting outside courts to make judgments on things that happen on the football pitch, really nobody knows what consequence that could end up with.
OK, well, Farnborough and Torquay, as we said at the top of the programme, it's the biannual air show that usually gets the town a mention. It's football tonight and the FA Cup. Torquay, the visitors. The mood Farnborough are in, we could be in for a special night. A place in the third round beckons. Graham Simmons reports.
Match days here at Farnborough tend to create a bit of a buzz, even when there's no match. Last Saturday, Macclesfield Town should have been the visitors in the GM Vauxhall Conference, but when the groundsman nearly bent the prongs of his fork during the pitch inspection, it didn't take a genius to realise it was time to ring the pools panel. But they finally emptied the bar by selling tickets for tonight's Cup replay, and there was no shortage of takers. In fact, you're tempted to say you'd need to be a monk to have avoided all the FA Cup frenzy here in Farnborough. I'm afraid you can't even say that. St Michael's Abbey in Farnborough is a Benedictine monastery, but the 14 monks here know all about Farnborough and football.
We only have one monk who's actually from Farnborough. He's actually brought up in Farnborough. So I think that most of us here you would support, if we support any team at all, we support our local sides from where we are at home.
So yours would be, may I guess, Sunderland?
Sunderland, yes.
The brothers of St Michael's can perhaps be forgiven their secular interest in their local team's historic achievements. After all, they know a little bit about history themselves. Down in the crypt, believe it or not, lie the remains of Napoleon III, the last emperor of France and the nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, who was buried here in 1873. Well, that was about the time that Ted Pearce joined Farnborough Town as team manager. Only joking, it just seems like it was that long ago. In fact, this remarkable character took over in 1970, when the club was just 3 years old and playing in the Surrey Senior League. But since then, he's brought them up to no less than 8 divisions to the brink of the Barclays League, a momentous achievement by anybody's standards.
The team used to meet at the local telephone box to go to away matches, that being obviously the point of contact where people could contact one another, and we're now in the situation where we have the mobile phone on the coach, so I think that's an example of how things have moved on.
Technology has also rung a few changes down at the local newspaper offices, where Richard Fleming is a sports reporter. He's currently up to his ears in the cup run, but well aware of how far the team have come since their very first match in 1968.
It's Farnborough in 13-goal thriller. They won 7-6. Tom Barber was the first player to score for Farnborough. He notched a vital goal in the 12th minute against Surbiton Byron.
Farnborough's recent successes are certainly good news for the newspaper, and they provide a stark contrast with their league neighbours Aldershot. They, of course, are just one step away from the bottom of the Football League and bankruptcy. In fact, the only thing the two clubs have in common is their knack of drawing West Ham United in the third round of the FA Cup. Aldershot did that last year. Now it's Farnborough's turn. One thing that certainly doesn't bear comparison are the two clubs' away form. Farnborough's first 8 away games in the Vauxhall Conference this season produced 8 straight wins. Their home form's not quite that spectacular, but they're impressing an awful lot of people.
It's a very well-disciplined club. I was speaking to one of their former players just over a week ago who said that you probably won't find a better organised non-league side. And I think they're a very ambitious club, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go places.
Perhaps the secret lies in catching them young. 9-year-old Scott Turner trained with the team this week, and if his heroes could make it through to play West Ham tonight, that'd be Christmas come early for him, although he'd rather not make any predictions on whether Farnborough will nail the hammers.
If I say anything, this is on Sky, isn't it? If I say anything, my dad's going to kill me, so...
Oh, is he a West Ham supporter?
Yeah.
And with that, bless him, he went straight back to his training.
Too right, it's on Sky, young man, exclusively live tonight. Back to Farnborough then. Some introductions to the men on view tonight. There's Eddie Hemmings. Eddie.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome back to Farnborough Town. And let's take a check on the conditions first of all. Well, this pitch, let me tell you, was like rock at the weekend. The match against Macclesfield was off. Because of that, the goal mouths have been heavily sanded. And underfoot, I can tell you, it's quite tacky. And they expect the ball will shoot off the surface and give us a really fast game of football. But conditions underfoot, as far as everyone here concerned, absolutely perfect. And as you can see, maybe behind me, some of the players are taking a check on their studs and the conditions. Well, let's take a complete check now on the two team lineups, beginning with the men from Farnborough Town. In goal is John Power. He works as a school caretaker in London. He only conceded the goal in the first game 3 minutes from full time. In defence, look out for Jim Wigmore. At 6'4", he's the tallest man in the Farnborough side. His manager Ted Pearce says with a smile he jumps 5'10", and he's the club skipper. In midfield, Mick Doherty is the link between the midfield and the attack. He's the club record signing, £6,000 from Runcorn. He's been with 5 other non-league clubs in his career. And up front, there's the experienced Dean Coney, who arrived at Farnborough from a spell in Hong Kong last month. He played for Fulham, Queen's Park Rangers and Norwich in the Football League before a knee injury forced him out of the full-time game. And his partner in attack is Simon Reed, who scored Borough's goal in the first match at Plainmoor. He's the club's leading scorer in his 5 seasons here. And the manager is Ted Pearce. He's been here almost as long as Farnborough have, 21 years. He's been in charge for all but 2 seasons, and he must be one of the most successful managers in non-league football. Well, there we are. That's the team of part-timers. They are the men cast in the role of David here tonight. What about the team cast in the role of Goliaths? The men from Torquay United. Let's check on their team now. The goalkeeper is Gareth Howells. He's quite a character who's well known to the Borough fans, spending a year here on loan from Tottenham. His brother David, of course, still plays for Spurs. And if the tie goes to penalties after extra time, he'll take one of them. In defence, Paul Compton is 30 years old and played against Farnborough for Weymouth and Bashley. He joined Torquay as the youth development officer, but he's made his mark in the first team. In midfield, 19-year-old Paul Hall is the former YTS trainee at Plainmoor. He's obviously benefited from that experience. It was his 2 goals that helped beat Birmingham in the first round. Up front, Mark Loram is in his 2nd spell with Torquay, and it was his goal in the first match at Plainmoor that gave Torquay this difficult-looking replay tonight. The manager is Wes Saunders. He's still registered as a player, signed from Dundee at the start of last season. He was outstanding in the side that won the league playoff at Wembley when he was acting captain, but he's injured for this game tonight. Yeah, big match then in prospect here at Farnborough Town tonight. I wonder what it takes for a non-league side to beat league opposition. Somebody here who can tell us. Jeff Chappell, who is the manager of Woking. Jeff, what does it take?
Well, I'm sure Ted Pearce, who's been here 22 years now, will be in there really getting them fired up. Farnborough, traditionally very good side, similar to ourselves at Woking, play tremendous football, and they're one of the top non-league sides in the country, and I'm looking for a good result tonight, Eddie.
What worries do you have, though, as a non-league manager for the part-timers here tonight against the big boys?
Well, at the moment, I mean, me as a manager at Woking, Ted here, no worries whatsoever. I mean, the level now between 4th Division and non-league is nil, as far as I'm concerned. The gap is nil. It's going to be very, very close tonight, and I'm looking forward to a good game.
So you fancy a good scrap?
Yes, I do.
OK, so there we are. Jeff fancies a good scrap. I'm sure everybody who's filling up here at Farnborough does too. It's all yours, Richard.
Eddie, thank you. It's got all the ingredients, hasn't it? It could be a special night. The winners, of course, play West Ham in the 3rd round. Kicks off at 7:30. Stay there. Welcome back. I'm sorry about the voice, incidentally. I'm sure there's somebody in your house struggling with this at the moment as well, which is why I'm rather pleased I'm here in the warmth and that Eddie Hemmings is in Farnborough. Eddie.
Well, as we've said all night, Richard, it's a great night for Farnborough Town, a great night for this fellow alongside me, John O'Hara, who's a life member here, vice president, founder member of the club.
One of the founder members.
But John, what a night for you.
It's the greatest night we've had here at Farnborough, and I just hope everything goes well for us and for Ted and the rest of the lads.
Well, it is a big night, but I mean, there's a lot of people coming in here full of expectancy.
That's right. I hope it all goes well for them as well, and they've supported us all the way down the line, right from our founder days at Queen's Road Rec, and as you say, this is our big night.
It would be a marvellous Christmas present for you, wouldn't it, third round?
Everybody. It will be a great night. Yes, I can't say no more than that.
What on earth will happen, though, if you get through and you play West Ham?
What will happen? We'll just wait till the day comes. That's all we can do. Just play our best, which I know they will do. They will play for Farnborough and for the club and for Ted, and we'll hope we get there against West Ham.
I tell you what, Ted Pearce has been here, what, over 21 years? He's got some tenancy on this ground, hasn't he?
Just about. Yes, I think he owns more of it than the Rushmore Borough Council.
Well, someone who's joining us now is Justin Fashanu, on the opposite side of the fence slightly tonight, Justin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'd like to have played, but we didn't sign early enough. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think that they had their chance at our place, so I can see it being a good game, but I think we're going to win it.
And what on earth are the nerves like inside that Torquay dressing room now? You've just come from there.
It's not too nervous at all. Everybody's very relaxed. I think the pressure's on Farnborough now because we've come to play, and they've got to prove that they can beat us, and we've got everything going for us. So no pressure at all. We're enjoying ourselves.
No pressure coming to a place like this? Come on.
No, the field's great. It's big. It's bigger than most non-league team fields. And they play a little bit, so I can't see there being a problem.
OK, just in confidence there, Richard. Back to you.
I'm not sure, David, whether you. I think all the pressure is on Torquay tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure's bound to be on the side that's in the third division of the Football League, and all the people in Farnborough have turned out tonight, I would think, with the balloons as well.
I mean, you've been there, you know what it's all about. You took Southend to Aylesbury a couple of years ago and got beaten there.
Very much so, and no one can tell in these cup games. It doesn't matter who you are, and it is a definite leveller, because at the end of the game, the whistle goes, you're finished. You either win or you lose. There's no middle way and say, well, we're getting back next week or the week after or end of the season. You're out. And I think that's one advantage of it. They've done a lot of hard work, Farnborough. They've gone to Torquay. They've got themselves a draw. I would think Justin's got his tongue in his cheek there a little bit when he's standing there.
I think we're going to see some goals tonight. If it's all level at 90 minutes, there's extra time. If it's level after that, penalties. No way to settle a cup tie, is it?
No, it's not a way to settle it, but, you know...
Great entertainment, mind.
That's even more pressure, you know, because nobody wants to get to that stage, and I would think... I honestly think we'll see quite a few goals tonight.
Hope so. Let's go back to Farnborough. Eddie Hemmings is waiting for us again. Eddie.
Tell you what, Richard, they've got a great tannoy system here at Farnborough, if nothing else. He's going full belt up there just now. But what about the two men on whom probably there is the most pressure? That's the managers of both these clubs. Well, a few moments ago, I managed a word with Wes Saunders, the manager of Torquay United, and I suggested to him that it was a difficult little tie that he's got on his hands here tonight.
We nearly got our comeuppance at Torquay a week or so ago, and we know what to expect when we come here. It's going to be hard for us tonight, but we're quietly confident.
How concerned are you about the opposition?
Oh, very concerned. I mean, it's a big game for Farnborough. They've got nothing to lose, we've got everything to lose, and of course you've got West Ham in the next round, so everything to play for both teams.
Dare you think about West Ham in round 3 yet?
Well, we're going to think about it because that's the big incentive. That's the thing that's going to fire us on tonight. Hopefully that's the carrot that's dangling there, and then we're going to produce the goods and be good enough to take the incentive that's there. So, yes, the West Ham game, we're definitely going to think about it.
Well, it really is a great prize, isn't it? West Ham, remember, in the third round, and we'll get a winner tonight. Let's just have a look at the record of the two prospective clubs, starting with Farnborough. Champions through, well, promoted through 8 leagues since 1970-71, and they now sit on the threshold of a place in the Football League. It really is an extraordinary record that they've had. FA Cup, Torquay United 1-1 in the second round, and they were so close to winning. Torquay United got as far as the 4th round on 5 different occasions, and as we said, West Ham waiting for the winners tonight. David Webb's in the studio with us, and we'll be back at Farnborough very shortly. Kick-off, remember, 7:30. Stay where you are. Welcome back. You're watching Sky Sports. Glad you made that decision. Tell you what, tell your friends about us and make their Christmas. Don't forget our Carlsberg Man of the Match competition tonight. The ultimate prize for one lucky Sky Sports viewer, a family day out at a big Wembley match. But first, just watch our live game tonight very carefully. At the end, we'll ask you to name your Carlsberg Man of the Match, and if you vote for the overall poll winner, you could win one of our weekly prizes. Stage 2 comes later in the season when all our weekly winners go into a draw. The winner then gets a family day out for a big match at Wembley. Sports bag full of all sorts of goodies up for grabs tonight. The telephone number is 0898 500 125. 0898 500 125. And we'll announce the winner in Sky Soccer Weekend on Friday at 6. David Webb, final thoughts, prediction?
There's some good goals here. I hope there's some of them tonight. I think there'll be a few goals in the game. I do honestly. I think looking at the game from last Saturday, I think now it's all set up. I think there'll be a few goals, 5 or 6 goals in the game.
Well, out they come. And stay where you are. We're in for a special night. I'm certain about that. Winners play West Ham in the 3rd round. Our commentators this evening, Tony Gale of West Ham United, who I suspect is on a spying mission, and Martin Tyler. Martin, good evening to you.
Good evening, Richard. Hello again, everyone. This, the John Roberts ground at Cherrywood Road, Farnborough, on the borders of Hampshire and Surrey. An all-ticket crowd of around 2,500, most of them giving their full backing to this Farnborough team, which shows 2 changes from the side which drew at Torquay 10 days ago. The record signing here, Mick Doherty and 19-year-old Danny Holmes on the sidelines then, are in the side tonight at the expense of Mark Fleming, who has appeared in the 1st Division with Queen's Park Rangers, and Andy Rogers, who reached the semi-final stage of the FA Cup with Plymouth back in 1984. That gives you some idea of the strength in the Farnborough squad. There is a different slant to the style of play as well, with Doherty playing in the hole, as the coaches say, just behind the 2 main strikers, Simon Reed, who put Farnborough in front at Torquay, and the former England under-21 international, Dean Coney, whose full-time career was ended last season with a knee injury. Torquay have dispensed with the services of 2 of the team which performed so dismally in the first match. David Hodges and Dean Edwards have left the club. And on Saturday came that horrific incident which has threatened the future of John Uzell. All this on top of the long-term injury to the player coach, Wes Saunders, and the ineligibility of their latest signing, Justin Fashanu. It is a 4-4-2 formation for Torquay. Paul Holmes switches from right to left back to take Uzell's place. In fact, Wayne Dobbins will play on the right-hand side. And Dobbins, Paul Compton in defence, Mickey Holmes and Scott Colcombe in midfield. They didn't start the original 2nd round game, so both sides have been significantly altered over the 10 days between the 2 meetings. And Tony Gale, welcome to you, and here's a fellow you know all about from your days together at Fulham, Dean Coney.
Yes, indeed. He had a bit more hair at Fulham, though. It looks like he's suffered in Japan, by the looks of him there. No, I wish him well tonight, and I really hope Farnborough win, come down to West Ham. I mean, that's selfish reasons on my part, really, because it'll be a home tie. And obviously, some good money for Farnborough coming in.
Well, you might not want to go to Torquay because, of course, 2 years ago, dare I remind you, you were in the side. Their goalkeeper tonight is Gareth Howells, who actually was injured in training this morning, and I understand has travelled up from the West Country in the team coach with a fillet steak wrapped round the damaged ankle to try and draw the bruises out of it. But Tony, you certainly wouldn't fancy perhaps going to Torquay if
2 years ago we had a nightmare there. They beat us 1-0. It was on a mud patch really, and I really wouldn't look forward to going there again, so let's hope for a Farnborough win.
The referee is Paul Durkin, and Farnborough, it could be the biggest night in their relatively short history. They were only founded back in 1967, and they have made tremendous strides in the non-league pyramid to stand tonight 3rd in the GM Vauxhall Conference, and with a chance to get the headlines in the 2nd round of the FA Cup. It must be settled here tonight under the new regulations of the competition. whether it takes extra time or even a penalty shootout. Scott Colcombe running into trouble. Torquay in their change strip of purple shirts. Matthew Elliott, a key figure for them there, big number 5, who's not only the pillar of the defence, he's the top scorer as well. And Ted Pearce, now in his 22nd year as manager of Farnborough Town. They call it an insecure business, the managing game. Magnificent service. Jim Wigmore was pushed onto that by Mark Loram, the Farnborough captain, who has been at work today. He's a heating and ventilation engineer.
I think we need a bit of help up here, Martin.
Well, the weather has much improved. The ground was so frostbound last week. In fact, Farnborough on a couple of nights was the coldest place in the country. And the pitch, thanks to the groundsman here, Ron Manville, really tends it with loving care, is in excellent conditions. Torquay can have no complaints about the surface on which they're being asked to work tonight. And despite all the negative news from playing more last Saturday, there was a positive aspect about the 1-1 draw with Brentford. It lifted Torquay off the bottom of the 3rd division. Farnborough at the moment just playing a bit of a dangerous game on the edge of their own penalty area. Darren Rowbotham, and I checked the pronunciation, he's scored a lot of goals for Exeter and was referred to around the country as Rowbottom, but he's asked me to use the family name Rowbotham. Challenging for this one, who was out of the full-time game for 4.5 years until an emergency call from Torquay this season. He's really the club's youth development officer. Now Paul Hall really took Birmingham to task in the first round when Torquay were the underdogs. He got 2 goals in a 3-0 win over Terry Cooper's Birmingham, which was something of a shock in the first round. Holmes to Scott Colcombe. Rowbotham into the middle, but Colcombe going his own way.
It looks like there could be a danger on the wide, with Farnborough only playing 3 in midfield and 1 in the hole. They look a bit susceptible to the flanks here.
And Scott Colcombe cutting in from the left-hand side, seeing plenty of the ball early on, but Simon Reed is chasing here, and Gareth Howells, who had this season on loan when he was a Spurs junior with Farnborough, so he won't feel too out of place. Hall challenging back. Easily for Elliott. Rowbotham, Hall. And Paul Holmes taking charge. From Mickey Holmes, they're unrelated. And we've got a Danny Holmes for Farnborough as well. And the free kick given against Wayne Stemp, who is a full-time player. He's on loan from Brighton. A long-term loaner here for much of the season. Had a handful of games in their second division side, either at right back or as a central defender. But there's a chance here for Torquay to seize the initiative early on. Compton coming in. And certainly Compton and Elliott will keep defenders like Andy Bye occupied. In the first game, Matthew Elliott won so much of the ball at set pieces. He's waiting by the near post, Loram to take it. And Elliott got to it. And might get to it again. He's one of the few survivors at Torquay from the team that knocked West Ham out. Sorry to remind you, Tony, of that again. Almost 2 years ago now. There have been a lot of changes at Torquay United since then. Jamie Horton conceding another corner. And Torquay able to work it short. And Loram, who scored from quite a similar angle to keep Torquay in the cup to bring this replay about. Loram again. He's blessed with an abundance of talent. Certainly Torquay trying to spread the play to Hall on the right and Colcom on the left. And Loram able to do just that. Paul Holmes lending close support to Colcom. Here he is. And Wigmore not able to let the ball run as he might have hoped initially.
Here goes the first ball.
Yes, it is a problem in the smaller grounds outside the Football League. Some of the heftier clearances.
Farnborough struggling to settle down at the moment. They do look like a footballing side, and I spoke to Alan Taylor beforehand. He said they'd like to knock it about, but they just haven't settled at the moment.
Alan Taylor, the coach, the assistant to Ted Pearce. Another former Fulham man. And Wayne Stemp taking the steam out of that situation neatly enough. We've got one oddity here, given the records of the teams this season. Farnborough have won most of their games in the conference away from this ground. Have a fantastic away record, in